Robert, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, excited to have you on. So tell us who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so Robert Royer, I'm founder and president of Building Brands Marketing. We're a full service marketing consulting agency here in Victoria, Texas, in an area they call the Crossroads, about 2 hours between all the major metros in South Texas: Houston, Austin, San Antonio, and Corpus Christi. We do anything and everything in the agency business, basically, all the way from top of funnel to bottom of the funnel. We started out with just me in 2018. Fast forward today, we're over 2 dozen employees that specialize in all areas of marketing.
Very cool. And what got you into starting an agency? Are you accidental or what?
Yeah, I started out selling newspaper ads. I actually began in the media industry selling newspaper ads. I was a longtime restaurant guy, was looking for a way out. Like most newspapers, they launched the digital agency, and then I worked my way up to run that digital agency. And ultimately in 2018, I wanted to go out and start my own and kind of do it my own way with some of my own customer service principles and things of that nature. And that's what led me to building brands in 2018.
Very cool. Awesome. And you have had an acquisition. You're still obviously at the agency, but what was it like when you started in 2018 to get to the point to a couple months ago to sell the agency?
Yeah. So when I started in 2018, it was really just going to be an independent consulting agency. It was going to be me by myself, providing some just independent consulting, mostly in the SEO, SEM space, and high level strategy. And as I got a little bit deeper, about 60 days in, I was referring out some of these pieces of marketing strategies, videos, and websites. And I really lacked the control to be sure that, that was executed from an executional standpoint to some of these referral partners. And so about 60 to 90 days in, I also was working like 80 to 90 hours a week. And I was
Mhm.
like, man, I don't know if this is something I want to do forever. And so I tore up the whole business plan and went down the traditional ad agency route that I just told myself I was going to get out of, basically. And what was really cool was I work in an area of South Texas where it's in between a lot of major metro areas. So there's not a big pool of people who do what we do for a living here. And once I started the agency, this sort of energy just started to attract other people that were similar skill sets, some that I didn't even know existed in this marketplace. And it really started to build this momentum of a team that, shared this kind of this synergistic passion. And that was what I feel like really catapulted us, along with COVID that happened in the middle of there, that actually helped our business to really just kind of some very fast growth over the first couple of years.
What got you to a point deciding that it was time to sell, right? Like you're a multi-million-dollar agency. Yeah, you haven't been doing it that long. I mean, 2018 to 24 is not that long of a stint. In your mind, what was the option to sell? Why was that attractive to you?
Yeah, for several reasons. First of all, the Rossman Media Group, the parent company that we went into a partnership with, Alex Rossman is a really bright guy, and he really carries himself well. We've had conversations going for a long time, and it actually started the opposite way around, where we were looking at other agencies to potentially buy. When I say we, my business partner, VP of Operations Alex Richardson, and myself, and our goal was really, we wanted to be able to scale and step back and really work on what we love to do, which is the strategy side of the business, the executional operations side of the business. The back office thing is something that I've done with multiple businesses, and it's not my favorite part of the job, all the legal and the finance and HR and all that. And what we've been focusing on the last few years is building systems and SOPs and things of that nature to be able to hand off to someone else down the road. And when we looked at the synergy with Rossman Media, they're growing very fast, and they're a major player in the national space. And we've made our bread and butter in the small to medium sized businesses and small to mid sized markets. And so we really brought this opposite side of the business model of, what we call the small business division. That on the flip side, Rossman brought a lot of the trials, tribulations, the lessons at the national level that probably are 5 years, 10 years ahead of us, or maybe not that far, that we were going to run into anyway. And so we felt like this is a good resource to have someone else who has been there, done that, And then we're also on the opposite side of the spectrum, where we could provide some insight and additional market opportunity that may not be narrowed in on previously, and especially with some of our key niches that we work in. And so it just felt like a really blended opportunity for additional resources, for us to do more of what we love, and ultimately to give our team, which in Victoria, Texas, is, this is somewhat of a small rural area, for people to be able to do work at this level now is something that we never could have foreseen. So it gave a lot of our employees, the motivation to be part of just something legacy building.
That's very cool. I remember when I sold the first agency, I always one of the main reasons why is I felt I hit a plateau, or like I felt like I was holding the agency back. And at the time I was. But then when I
Yeah.
look back now, I'm like, I always tell everybody, when you want to scale your agency, I look for the three W's. Where do I want to go? Who do I need to hire? And who do I need to become? And I realized the who I needed to become was totally different to scale up to the next level. And looking back, I remember there was one challenge I had was my business partner and I were not getting along. And I felt like that was my easy out. Did you ever feel that way when you were thinking about selling, of like, there's this one problem I just can't figure out, and that's why I'm selling? Everyone always talks about opportunity. Oh, I'm going to get a, I got good money, right? Like, but at the end of the day, I could care less about that. I cared more of like, I felt like I was holding the agency back. Did you feel that at all?
100%. I mean, that is the perfect way to put it. I felt like I was good at what I did. I still am. Our team is. But ultimately, I was being pulled in all these different directions, as well as Alex, our VP of Ops, that were things that were not the best use of our skill set. And then the other problem is that we hold ourselves, and it's a good problem. This is not a real problem, but it's a psychological problem, I guess. We hold ourselves to such a high quality of customer service, and also just to our quality of work, that it became a challenge to try to balance that same quality as the business scales, while also taking care of all the back office components that come along with the business and managing more people. And ultimately, I think me spending more time in the back office parts of the business, as opposed to the doing better quality of work part of the business in some cases, it was holding our agency back, and it was feeling like it was starting to plateau. But also, I think we have to continue to, in this business, have to continue to, like, it's an ever evolving door of learning more and learning more and learning more. And if you get caught up in your silo because you're just so busy in the weeds, it's really easy to get stagnant in this business. And I do this because I love to learn and become better and be better than I was yesterday. And most of the people that we work with are the same way. And so you start to ask yourself, why am I doing this if I'm not continuing to get that collaboration that I'm looking for, and I'm operating in this silo?
Are you looking for a strategic, reliable white label partner to scale your agency business? E2M is the #1 white label partner for digital agencies when it comes to web design, web development, e-commerce, SEO, and content writing. Now, E2M is a trusted partner by over 150 agency partners, and they've been providing white label services to agencies for over a decade with a team of 170 plus experts. E2M is on a mission to help 500 plus agency owners increase their revenue and profit margins with impactful white label services. Check out their transparent and flexible white label pricing model at e2msolutions.com/smartagency. E2M is currently running a special discount for 10% off for the first 3 months, available for a limited time. So go check them out right now.
Yeah, I find a lot of people I chat with, the back office is pulling them in. It's kind of like, let's call it the back office quicksand, right? The more you
Yeah.
struggle, the more it pulls you down. What's the reason why not hiring people to take that over? Like, I understand the thing to, take chips off the table and sniffing an event. I get that. But I always like to ask people, I'm like, well, and especially when we were buying agencies, I'd be like, dude, you're making over $1 million a year. You're not working much. What am I missing?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, I guess not. Like, I don't want to sell. I'm like, good, don't sell.
Yeah, yeah. For me, it's really being on that cusp of, when you're in that $2 to $3 million annual revenue stage, you're in that revenue threshold where you have enough to have a pretty robust team, but you don't have enough to have as many in-house roles as you would like to. And so you're dealing with a lot of fractional roles. Fractional roles involves a lot of trust. Over time, I've had, for example, certain fractional roles that continually failed me and continually failed me. And I was having to do a lot of micromanaging over those roles. And so I questioned the ability to really effectively bring that in-house, and ultimately, I've ran other businesses. I don't have to be the one that needs to be in control of every single detail and needs to be the owner of every single detail per se. I'm at the point in my career where I want to love what I want to do, and I want everybody around me to love what they want to do. And if that means, sacrificing some things in order to bring that to fruition, so be it.
I think you nailed it on the head. I always tell all the agencies in our mastermind, anywhere from a million to about 7 million, you're in fucking no man's land. Because,
Yeah, yeah,
right? Because if you think about it, just like you said, to get the right A player, and it takes people, they're thinking in a small mindset, right? So if you think about it this way, I always want to hire people that I don't have to manage because I'm a shitty manager. I'm a
hmm
horrible manager. I'm a good leader because I can give people direction and I can hopefully inspire them and put the right people in the right seat. But if I have to manage you and you come to me, what should I do today? I'm like, hey, dumbass, I can find someone faster, cheaper, and fast,
yeah,
whatever. I said faster, cheaper, faster, whatever. You guys know what I'm saying, right? And those are hiring like B players. But if you hire an A player, it'll cost you 20% more, but they'll deliver 10x the result and they'll take off so much of your work. But it's hard to
uh,
find the A players.
100%. And then to keep them happy, because a lot of times the A players, it's not just about money and things like that. It's about professional growth, knowledge development, all these things that involve more time. The crazy thing between 1 million and $2 million is I never really made any more money. And working more and managing more people. You see? So you start to kind of look at it and go, okay, what does this look like over a long time perspective? Do we continue to double down and I have been somewhat debt adverse and things of that nature. I've tried to be pretty fiscally conservative in that regard, and so though when you look at other partners that have a lot more resources, it's able to scale that a lot quicker because it's like running through the briar patch in between $1 million and $5 million. It hurts like heck going through it, and so it's some growing pains.
I always tell everybody it's kind of like this. Right before the million, the business is fun. And you're like, oh man, I'm doing a lot, but you're doing a lot of work. And then you get over the million mark, which everyone, like, there's people that have get over the $1 million mark and you're
Yeah.
amazing. And I'm like, well, you got to be ready to kind of go through what I call kind of the white water. Like you're getting bounced around, you're getting hit in the rocks. You're just trying
Yeah.
not to go under an undercut rock and drown. And a lot of times you go, man, it was just fun going back to the first stage, the under million mark. And then you have a decision to make. And you have to think about the decision of going, do I want to go back to the fun stage where everything is relying on me and my freedom is at question? Like I can't go on vacation for a month like some of our agencies we work with do. And then
Yeah.
they come back and their business is grown. Or they can say, let me push through this. Let me get the scars, the bruises, the maybe lose a toe, you know, in the process and get through it. And you find the next phase where it's the predictable phase. You got the right
Yeah.
people in the right seat. They're way better than you. And all you have to do is sit back, share the vision, communicate it often, and just make sure you don't demotivate anybody.
Yeah.
That's what I remember of going, man, because then once you get over that level, man, things are easy. You'll literally go into a meeting and they'll be like, no, I don't need you. We're good. You go into another one. No, I'm good. And you're like,
Yeah.
shit. Then, like, here's the warning: you'll get depressed because the business doesn't need you for what it used to need you for. It needs you for
Yeah.
something entirely different that no one else can do. And then when you realize that, then that's when the business takes off.
Definitely.
Awesome. Well, this has been a lot of fun. Thanks so much, Robert, for sharing your journey and being transparent with everybody. I mean, that's what we're about, of not just sugarcoating the great things, but letting people know, like, what is it real? Like, I always hate when I watch certain things on the outside and be like, man, they made it look so easy. And running an
Yeah.
agency ain't easy.
Jason, I do a lot of public speaking. I'm involved with the college on the board of advisors of the university here. And I always try to tell people this because it's important they know this. It's easy to look from the outside in and go, hey, it's easier. That looks fun, this and that. When I started the business in 2018, I spent 15 months with a young son that was very young and no days off. 15 months straight, Thanksgiving, New Year's. I say that and people kind of roll their eyes. Oh, you answered a couple emails or what? No, 15 months straight. And I look back in hindsight, I missed a lot of things, right? And then I spent those first couple of years working, 7 days a week, although it was a little bit more lax. But the reality is that it's a grueling business at those beginning stages, and people that get into it, I see so many agencies pop up and they fail so quickly because they're not ready for that at the beginning stages. If I was to give advice to a young agency owner, I would say for the first couple of years, kiss work-life balance out the window. Don't get into it for that reason. If you want to grow and you want to scale, unless you just, you're comfortable with being at that for the long term.
Yeah. No, I should change the show to be "It ain't easy growing an agency."
Yeah, exactly. You're not lying.
Yeah, exactly. Well, awesome. Well, thanks so much, Robert, for coming on the show. And everybody listening, I have some really exciting news. We put out a free training page for you. If you go to swank.it, you'll get access to amazing resources, from generating better leads, better clients, what's the perfect offer, and most importantly, how to scale your agency. Go check out those resources. Go to swank.it. And until next time, have a swank day.